hot as hell in here.
Yeah, man, but it's a dry heat.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of Digital Fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn. Today's deck is a super fun one. This is called Dry Heat. And the idea here is we're trying to do Boros Burn. And this is loosely based off of a deck I did a couple sets ago called Hot Tub Time Machine. And that was a mostly mono-red Izzet burn deck that splashed Izzet colors for some adventure creatures, and we're sort of building off of the foundation of that and the concepts that we developed for that deck, but we're moving into Boros so that we can take advantage of Lightning Helix being back in Standard, and there's a couple other new cards in this deck that really put it over the top and really help burn just be pretty insane, so I'm kind of excited about it. Before we break down the deck, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, help out the channel. Every little bit of that does help a ton. I've gone over this time and again. I know you're probably sick of hearing me say it, but I do appreciate it greatly. So the little thumbs uppy button there, the like, hit that. Hit the thing. Do the thing. Help me out. Also, catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/QuarantineCapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Last but not least, spoilers have started dropping. Spoilers for both Outlaws of Thunder Junction and Bloomburrow. So I've been doing a ton of spoiler shorts lately, and I'm going to make sure that I link you to the spoiler playlist for those brand new spoilers for those sets that are upcoming for the rest of 2024. So if you're interested in checking those out, check out the playlist down below. I'm going to link it up above and down below. Check that out. Let me know your thoughts on the new cards. Some of those cards are looking pretty wild. And with all of that out of the way, let's break down this deck. Alright, so this deck is really simple. It's built off the foundation of my Hot Tub Time Machine deck from, I believe, when Wilds of Eldraine came out. I made that deck. And it's basically a burn deck that centers around Mechanized Warfare and tries to use the spells that are going to get the absolute most value out of Mechanized Warfare as possible. So because Mechanized Warfare is a non-creature spell, it will trigger Prowess and then add additional damage onto whatever creatures are swinging in, as well as add additional damage onto our burn. And most of what we're running is burn. This is a burn deck, but we do have a few key prowess creatures in the deck to just push it over the edge and make it that much better. We're running white in this one. We're going Boros. It's basically a mono-red deck. It's a Boros mono-red deck. We're splashing white, but it's primarily mono-red. So unlike Hot Tub Time Machine, we're using white instead of blue, and that's for Lightning Helix. This is the mythic, legendary Lightning Helix in all of its glory. Instant speed, 2 mana, 3 damage to anything, gain 3 life. The reason this is so good is because it helps you win races against other aggro decks because of the life gain, and it can double as removal or damage to the head, whatever you want, the same as Lightning Strike. So it's just super versatile, and it's really good in a burn deck by being able to buy you the time you need to win or be the final 3 points of damage to win if you're in that sort of scenario. So key card there. Another really important new card, Case of the Crimson Pulse, 3 mana enchantment. When it enters, you discard a card and draw 2. This is a little bit slow, but this is usually the last thing we're going to play. If we're out of gas, we play Case of the Crimson Pulse. And it's not like we would really have anything else to cast anyway if we're out of gas, so it doesn't feel that bad. But if we can solve it by having no cards in our hand, which is almost always going to happen when we're out of gas, then at the beginning of every upkeep from that point on, we discard our hand and draw 2 cards. And since a lot of the cards in this deck are instant speed removal, like Lightning Helix, we can do things like, even if we don't have enough mana to just play out all the burn spells out of our hand before we discard them, we can untap on our turn, and then it moves to upkeep, and before we get to draw step, or rather before we get to the point in our upkeep when we have to discard in response to this trigger, we could just cast our instant speed burn to not have to discard it, and then we still get the solve state, letting us draw the 2 cards, in addition to the card that we're just going to draw on our draw step anyway. So that's 3 cards a turn. That in a burn deck just ends games so quickly. So we absolutely have to run 3 of these. Basically, the whole reason I want to play burn is to play this card, because the one problem burn has is that it just runs out of gas too quick. Case of the Crimson Pulse just gives you unending, unlimited gas. Like, basically a free Ancestral Recall every turn is kind of insane. And it gets you a little bit of value when you first cast it too. So, absolutely nuts in a deck like this when you have just burn just going off every turn. It gets really crazy. Another new card that we're using here, just 1 Fugitive Codebreaker. This is going to be a really good prowess creature that's going to get value when you cast your non-creature spells like Case of the Crimson Pulse or Lightning Helix or the aforementioned Mechanized Warfare. It's also a haste creature, 2/1, but you can also disguise it for 3, and then you can turn it face up for 1 red and 5, but reduce the cost of that by 1 for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. Since we're running a burn deck, sometimes if we get this guy later in the game, we can play him disguised and flip him for just the 1 red mana and draw even more cards. And maybe that's what draws us into our Case of the Crimson Pulse so that we can keep going off with card advantage. So just 1 of these guys. If we get him on curve, we're going to want to just drop him probably as a 2/1 prowess haste and just try to get in for as much damage as possible. But like I said, if we get him later on in the game, we get even more value out of him by being able to get some card draw. Starting at the bottom of the curve, we have End the Festivities. Absolutely nuts with Mechanized Warfare because it's going to deal 2 damage to each opponent, creature, and planeswalker instead of 1 when we have the Mechanized Warfare out, which is kind of crazy. 4 Kumano faces Kakkazan for 1 mana each. Chapter 1's going to deal 1. Now it's going to deal 2 with Mechanized Warfare out, and then it's going to put a counter on something on Chapter 2, and then on Chapter 3 it's going to flip into a hasty creature. This is not new. Everyone sees this everywhere, and there's good reason for it, but in this deck we make it even better because we make it slightly more valuable later in the game by playing it after a Mechanized Warfare. And not only that, but because it's so cheap, it's a really good hit off of, the card draw we're getting every turn with Case of the Crimson Pulse, because we're that much more likely to just be able to vomit everything out of our hand if everything is super cheap. We've also got Monastery Swiftspear because it's just too good in a deck like this. A 1/2 haste prowess that's going to get buffed up with all of these non-creature spells and all of these burn spells that we're playing. Pretty huge. It's also getting the damage increase from Mechanized Warfare as well, so really good combo there. And then we've got Play with Fire. 1 red mana for an instant, 2 damage to anything. This is probably the 1 mana burn spell of choice, just because if we do decide to go to the face with this, we get to scry 1 as well. Sometimes that's really important for getting us to our card advantage or getting us to our key land drop or whatever it might be. Moving on, we've got 4 Khenra Spellspear. Obviously, we're going to jam this thing. It's probably one of the better prowess creatures we have access to. 2/2 trample prowess for 2. It's pretty good on its own. But if you ever have a turn where you can actually spend the 3 mana and flip him, having the additional ward 2 and being a 3/3 instead of a 2/2 now, and then double prowess instead of just 1, I feel like people forget just how powerful that is. And I feel like people stopped using the Khenra Spellspear. But in a deck like this, where we have a ton of burn spells, and therefore we're able to get even more value off prowess triggers, Spellspear is an absolute must. We're going to run 1 Heartflame Duelist, since we are splashing white. This is one of those cards that I kind of want to run more of, but at the same time, we want to keep our cost of our cards kind of lower. We do have a lot of 3-drop stuff as it is, with the Case of the Crimson Pulse and the Mechanized Warfare, some other cards we'll get to. So we're going with just 1 here, because if we do get it, we're happy to see it. It's a burn spell that gives us even more card advantage afterwards, because it comes down as a creature after. But that first Heartflame Duelist that hits the board is going to give all of our instants and sorcery spells lifelink. If we do happen to get a second one on the board, it gets redundant, and we don't really get that ability anymore. So if there is a card in the deck that I'm okay with bringing down to just 1 copy, I think the Heartflame Duelist is the card to do it with, because that ability does become redundant in multiples. Even though the card is good enough with all the card advantage it gives you to potentially have multiple copies, if we got to bring something down, I think this is the card to bring down. So we've got just 1 of these here. Moving on to the 3-drop slots, we've already talked about Mechanized Warfare. We've already talked about Case of the Crimson Pulse. We've also got 4 Invasion of Regatha. This thing is also insane with Mechanized Warfare because not only will it come down and deal 5 damage to anything, which if you've already got an Invasion of Regatha down, you can do that 5 damage to the first Invasion of Regatha and flip it automatically right there. But also you deal 1 damage to a creature. So if you have the Mechanized Warfare down, you actually get to deal 2 damage to a creature. You get to shock a creature and do 5 damage to either the opponent or a first copy of Invasion of Regatha. So there's just a ton that this can do, a ton of pressure this can put on the opponent, especially with a Mechanized Warfare down. And it's just too good to not put in the deck that's centering around burn and centering around Mechanized Warfare. So absolutely jamming 4 of these. If we can attack into it and flip it, we get a 4/4 prowess creature that's going to get value off all of our burn spells as well, so extra synergy. And then if a non-creature source you control would deal damage to a creature, battle, or opponent, it deals that much damage +2. So not only do we have Mechanized Warfare increasing all the damage of all of our stuff by 1, but then we've also got Disciples of the Inferno increasing that damage by another 2, and it just gets super insane. So if you can flip to a Disciples of the Inferno, it's just super nuts in a burn deck. Moving on to our 5-drop slot, we've only got 3 cards here, and that's because it's Virtue of Courage, and we can play the adventure side for just 2 mana, instant speed, deal 2 damage to anything we want. So it's a way of having more burn in the deck, while also having a backup way of getting card advantage if we don't have our Case of the Crimson Pulse. 3 Cases of the Crimson Pulse and 3 Virtue of Courage, making up this 6-card package of crazy top-end card advantage for when we're running out of gas is pretty nuts. And the fact that half of those cards have a burn spell stapled to them in the form of an adventure just helps the deck just go off that much better and that much more consistently, and also makes it so that if you don't have a way to cast this yet, if you're not to the mana yet, it's never going to be a dead card. So it just kind of does everything we want to do, and I think having 3 of these to go alongside 3 Case of the Crimson Pulse is kind of perfect. As far as the mana, we want to try to make sure our mana is coming down untapped as much as possible, because we do not want to give up tempo. We want to burn our opponent out as quickly as we can. So we've got 4 Sundown Pass, 4 Battlefield Forge, and just 1 Restless Bivouac. Helps us get a little bit of extra white in here, helps us get a creature land in here, but like I said, we want to keep those tap lands to a bare minimum, so just the 1 Restless Bivouac. We've also got 1 Mirrex that can give us the white on a key turn if we're desperate, as well as give us a little bit of extra card advantage or value engine late in the game if we're out of gas. And then we've got 1 Thran Portal because it can come down as a white land if we absolutely need it to. And since we are so aggressive and have so much burn in the deck, and we have the life gain from Lightning Helix and potentially Heartflame Duelist to cancel out some damage, running the Thran Portal and being able to take the pain every turn from a card like this becomes a lot easier. We're still probably going to win the race. So 1 Thran Portal just to make sure our mana is where we need it to be, while still mostly being able to come into play untapped. And then we've got 1 Sokenzan because we have to run the Sokenzan, right? There's no reason not to. And then 8 Mountains because, like I said, this is mainly a mono-red deck. We need to make sure almost every land in the deck can make red, because a lot of times we won't need the white. But it's nice to make sure that we have the consistency with these dual lands to have the white whenever we're going to need it. So this is the deck. I think it's pretty crazy, and I actually think there's a lot of different color combinations that we can move into to make similar decks as this. And I'm interested in trying a couple different variants, whether it be Rakdos burn, Jeskai burn. There's a lot of cool roads that I want to go down and try different variations of burn decks like this. And I'm excited to try those out. So I hope you'll come on that journey with me. And without further ado, let's check out the games. All right, keep 7. Swiftspear. Kumano. I think we'll go Kumano into Spellspear. Could also Virtue of Courage here to kill the Swiftspear, but I don't want to waste the counter off of Kumano. He's going to Lightning Strike the Spellspear. Two Play with Fires. I am 1000% good with that. One 1000%. Alright, he's slightly winning the race, but we have a lot of value. Squee. Let's see. We could hit for 6. Discard a card, draw 2. Just pass the turn. 𝐂𝐑𝐄𝐈𝐴. Let's let him swing. I wanted to kind of kill Squee there. Oops. I was supposed to kill 𝐂𝐑𝐄𝐈𝐴 in response. That was a mistake. One that might cost us the game. We'll find out. Brutal Catheter? Brutal Cathar is still good. Yes. Dog, shut up. Discard you. Very slow. Very, very slow. Well, we're gonna have to go no attacks. Unfortunately. You got a double block 𝐂𝐑𝐄𝐈𝐴. I don't think there's anything he can play that could do 4 to us. So we're just going to Mechanized Warfare and swing. Next turn we've got Lightning Helix, Virtue of Courage. Oh, I lied. He's got a Hasty. No, but that's still only 3. That's still only 3. Still only 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not quite. We want to solve it. But we need to keep a blocker, because if he does the same thing he did last time, that'll be 3 damage plus the 1. Gets us to 1, is hoping a Lightning Strike can complete it. Complete the trifecta. Let's see, we got Warfare, Virtue of Courage. So we can hit for 4. risky. As of right now, if we hold back the blocker, the only thing that can kill us is a lightning strike. Right? So I think we have to do that rather than try to race him. If we try to race him and don't have a blocker, there's a lot more things that can kill us. Like, it would have been game over right there. But we got him now. Take action. Sick. And our opponent scoops. This one's a little weird, but we'll keep it. Alright, so we'll start with a Swiftspear. I think we're gonna wait on the Thran Portal to like turn 3 or something. But since we have the Forge, we probably play it for red. Get the Spellspear down. Then we'll start to go ham. Mechanized Warfare. Trigger the prowess. Do you have removal, sir? You do. Alright, so we'll swing for 3 either way. And then next turn we should be able to just go completely ham. 2, 4. That is not enough to kill a Shelly. We're going to have to basically... Well, no, we have Mechanized Warfare, right? So... we should be able to go like this. And then like this. And then like this. Hit for 2. And then hit for 5. And that's fine. Paragon. We'll play the Swiftspear. And we will swing. Puts him at 3. We've got another attacker that's going to flip next turn. And either one of them will hit for 3.
Ends today. Show them the edge of your blade.
But we've also got this.
I'll defend my allies.
Good game. We're going to keep this. Swiftspear. Ken taking away my coffee. How rude. How dare you? He doesn't want to shock it because he thinks we can shock in response. And then we play Spellspear, and then he does shock the Spellspear. No, he doesn't. Mudfeather Phoenix. Do we even kill it? I don't even think we kill it. Yeah. I don't like mono red when it's aggro focused. When it's same old boring. But as a burn deck, you don't see many people playing it very tilted towards burn. And I like it. We will keep this. Mono. It's just dry enough. Oh, we'll do that. And then see if he has an answer for the Spellspear. We'll play Thran Portal for white. Picklock Prankster. I think that's too slow. And we are going to play it here and take the damage. Do we transform it? I kind of think we transform it, honestly. The ward is so strong. Like, he almost can't kill this now. And then we're playing all of our spells. Like, we just have lethal. We just have lethal. Because Spellstalker is that gross. Yeah. What would it have been? I want to know. Let's find out. 4 with double prowess. And 2. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on the ground. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 damage we would have done. Yeah, sure, we'll keep this. Alright, Kumano. Yoshin Frontliner. Warden of the Inner Sky. I see. You're gonna really like my friend play with fire. You're gonna be a big fan. Big fan. War Leader's Call. Not a big fan of that. Four. Trample Prowess. Show me what you've got, Druizif. Looks good to me. Just slow him down, right? We don't need to kill the warden. Just take away its food. If he's got to tap a bunch of stuff, it's gonna be too slow, I think. Ballsy. Even ballsier. What is this man thinking? Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's the same damn thing, right? Let's do this. Really don't know why he swung. No creatures. I think I'm still gonna keep this. I feel like we use our burn as removal in the early game. And then we play Case of the Crimson Pulse. And then we use it as win condition afterwards. No, there will be none of that. There will be none of that. I think I just want to do this, honestly. Yeah, that's possible. Straight out of Brew York. Alright. A creature would be nice. But in order to play a creature, our only creature we'd have to skip out on Heartflame Slash. Is the counter worth more than the 3 damage? Probably not. We don't have a 1-mana spell to follow it up with either. So we'll just get the Mechanized Warfare out. Call it a day. Fairy Dream Thief. Sure. Fairy Dream Thief and Rakdos. We'll just swing. I think we just hold up our burn. Use it on his turn if we need to. Bitter Triumph. Sure. And the turn. So we could hit for 7 if we wanted to. Geological Appraiser. Blood Tithe Harvester. We're just gonna try and race, I think. He's got no lifelink or anything. we should be able to pretty effectively. Do you want to give up the Heartflame Duelist? I guess we just do the thing. We want to be able to play that case anyway. So we'll just do it like this. The Mechanized Warfare is another reason to only run the one of Heartflame Duelist, because a white creature doesn't get the buff in damage. So once we've got the lifelink ability from the Duelist, we kind of don't want extra copies of the Duelist. Alright, swing 3. Being extra cautious with that Dream Thief. Well, we're gonna have to discard End the Festivities, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll play a Bivouac, I guess. Pass the turn. Be drawing 3 cards next turn. We've got a Virtue of Courage. Creature of the Schism. Oh right, we have to have no cards in hand. Forgot about that. So getting like 3 lands in a row hurt us pretty bad. Pretty bad. We could have held up mana for the Bivouac, but I think I'd rather take the hits and set up with the Virtue of Courage, because I think that can snowball us. We're just going to pass the turn. I think blockers are super important right now. If we can just stay alive, we might be okay. We're solved. We have a Swiftspear. We can activate the Bivouac. So we at least won't die. And we've got to remember too, the Bivouac will deal 3 damage in combat, because it is a red creature. Pretty much Fuzi. We're gonna play it safe. Block the Appraiser. 5. Give me all of the cards, please. Thank you. Alright, so we can do 2 damage with the Regatha. Do we want to take the chance that we could draw into something? I think we do. I think we just hit the Preacher. That means any burn that we draw into at all with this will kill the damn thing. So, another Regatha. So if we hit for 5 and then swing, we could get the win. Or we could flip this Regatha. I think we just try to go for it. Decline. You have to block with the Dream Thief. Alright, so we're alive at 4. $35 cards left in the deck. Virtue of Courage and Case of the Crimson Pulse. I didn't miss lethal. I was worried he was holding up instant speed removal. And we're too low on life. If I targeted the Dream Thief so I could get through with the Swiftspear, and then he ended up having instant speed removal for the Swiftspear, now he still has his bigger vampire guy alive, and I'm only at 4, and there's a big chance he just kills me. So I didn't want to take the chance. Alright, we're going to keep this. And to be safe, I think we're just going to start with the Sundown Pass. We don't have a turn 2 creature to play to get the counter off Kumano anyway. We will play it this turn, though. And we'll pass the turn. If we top deck a creature, we'll probably play it to get the counter. Otherwise, we'll play the Warfare. Ooh, tricky. Tricky, tricky, tricky. I think if we play the creature, it just dies to removal. So I'm going to play the Warfare. Snoozing, huh? I guess our opponent is snoozing. Nice. Could be. How do we want to do this? I guess to start we'll just swing, right? We'll see what happens there. I think we're just gonna Case of the Crimson Pulse. Probably dump the Heartflame Duelist, since it's slow. Well, now we'll probably dump the Lightning Helix, since we don't know if we'll be able to cast it. Nice. End the turn. We can Virtue of Courage, hit something for 3. Get closer to solving. All right, let's swing. At this point, I think we just spam, spam, spam.
You started this one.
I'm going to end it.
Alright, so I mean, End the Festivities is just going to kill the Wandering Emperor.
My judgment is final. I'll be back.
We'll end the turn. We'll hold up Heartflame Duelist. Just hit them for 4, or if they play a creature, we can hit that for 4. Sure. Alright, Heartflame Duelist. Alright, now we just play everything so that we can activate. The case. Sure. Solve it. Pass the turn. He's at half health. Even with the 8 points of life gain. Sorry, 10 points of life gain. So we've already done 20 damage to him. Had to depopulate just to kill a Spellspear. That feels pretty good. Do we Warfare Swiftspear? Let's see. We could also Swiftspear Lightning Helix. That would be 1, 2, 3... plus 4, that would be 7 damage. Nah, I think I like this better. And then swing 4. And then what's cool about the instant speed stuff, I can put a stop on our upkeep. In response to the trigger, we can actually cast the Lightning Helix before we discard it. Hit for 5, put him at 1, then draw. Huh. That's a little rough. Can't cast anything. So he got a little lucky there. Alright, now we should be pretty good. Yep, we got him. He didn't have a way to deal with the Swiftspear. Alright, we're going to keep this. It's going to be slow, but it's going to be fine. Who ever heard of a slow burn deck? This guy. This guy heard of a slow burn deck. So we might just end the festivities next turn if he plays another 1 toughness creature. He does not. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. We'll just do this. And pass the turn and hold up Play with Fire. Anointed Peacekeeper. The heck do you even hit? Probably the Mechanized Warfare, right? Mechanized Warfare turns either of our burn spells into a spell that can kill the Peacekeeper. Without it, neither of them can. We have to double spell. It's probably what you hit. Either that or the Play with Fire. I think hitting the Case of the Crimson Pulse is a bit wasteful. Alright. Mechanized Warfare. Makes sense. Makes sense. Really love one of our 3 damage spells. Or another End the Festivities. But I don't think it's gonna happen. Gonna double Virtue of Courage. Get those enchantments exiled off to the side. Get them out of the way for Case to solve eventually. As quick as we can. Keep our cheap burn so that we can do more in one single turn. Let's see. We could Mechanized Warfare. Play with fire. Play with fire. Or we could Regatha, play with fire, play with fire. I think Mechanized Warfare is better. Because our Regatha will be stronger eventually. Do we kill the Minister? I think we pass. We hold up the ability to kill another creature he plays. I'm not really worried about the Minister gaining 1 life a turn. Plus we can kill whatever with the Regatha, which is nice. I mean, at this point I guess we will. We want to get rid of the cards in our hand anyway, so I think it makes sense. Just do everything, you know? Five, solve the case. Got 2 Virtue of Courage exiled. The case has been solved. He's trying. He is certainly trying. Do a little bit of this. Hit for 3. It's important to note Mechanized Warfare does not increase the damage we do to our own battles because we control them. It's damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls. Two, 3, 4, 5, and 1. So we'll do a little bit of this. Because why not? And then we'll do a little bit of this. Kill one of them. Gonna kill the other one. Okay. We are not going to get cards with the Virtue. We're going to decline that. Because we won't be able to play them. Although we have plenty of mana that next turn we probably can. Ballsy. Yowza. Take action. Give me more things. Play a land. Let's do another Kumano. Take action. I guess we just play all the Kumanos. Seems good to me. I think we gotta ship this, huh? I mean, we are on the draw. Still. We'll ship it. We'll keep this. Toss back. 2, 3, 4, 5. We might be able to just flip the Regatha, like, right away. But I don't know. Turn 1 Kumano, turn 2 Spellspear. Turn 3, if we play Regatha. Yeah, we're not swinging for enough, right? Probably dump the Swiftspear, honestly. Although if we don't get to 3 mana, that's probably a bad thing. Alright, we'll put the Regatha back. That's fine. That's quacktastic. Alright. Kumano faces Kakkazan. You have been deployed. Spellspear. You have been deployed. Do you have a counter spell, sir? Okay, he does. I mean, what's cool about that is we still have the Kumano down there, right? It's going to be able to swing pretty much no matter what. Mechanized Warfare gets us the most value. At this point, I'm worried about value and not speed because of our opponent's control. Ooh, it's playing Counterburn. That's fun. Fun. We just got to get all of our boys down, I think. Yes, Chunky. And then we'll play the Spellspear. Is our opponent gonna have Sunfall? He might have a sweeper here. It's not the end of the world if he does. It's okay. We'll play another Mechanized Warfare. So Virtue's doing 4, Play with Fire's doing 4. That's half of his life right there. Another Warfare. Alright, well, I guess we just gotta play the 3rd Warfare at this point. Although he could have a Farewell, and then I'm gonna be really sad. Alright. Get the Spell Pierce out of his hand. And he deduces. I kinda like this deck. Alright, we'll pass the turn. We can use all of this at the end of his turn to force him to have to potentially tap out. Intrude on the Mind. Separate them into 2 piles. We gotta be careful about what goes to the graveyard, too. So we can either give him a Depopulate, a Lightning Helix, and a 3/3 flyer, or we give him the Sunfall and the Anchorage. And a 2/2 flyer. I'm mostly worried about the Anchorage, to be completely honest. Pass. Hold up the play with fire. I don't care about this. I don't care about an 8-turn clock. We'll just let that guy stay forever. We are going to hit him in the head. And scry, if he'll let us. Yeah, we'll dump that. We need some card advantage. Another Mechanized Warfare. I mean, okay. I guess we'll just try to play it. See if he's got another counterspell. That basically means we just need 3 burn spells and we win. Any 3 burn spells at all, and we've already got 1. Pass the turn. Another Intrude on the Mind. Alright, that might be a little bit tricky. I assume he puts Farewell into a pile all by itself. Pass. Do we play with fire the token? That's the question. I think we gotta. And then just hope beyond hope. Because that's going to double how many turns we have to get to the cards we need to get to. Pass turn. So Lightning Helix is going to do 6 damage and gain us 3 life. Another one. Pass the turn. Just keep it going. Six. Oh, we're so close. Even if he has a Lightning Helix, it still leaves us at 1. Alright, he probably puts a counter on the guy and swings for 3. That means we've got lethal next turn. We just need to top deck some. Oh no! And the Lightning Helix! He had Wandering Emperor and Lightning Helix. Crazy. Can't keep a 1-lander, man. Mulligan. Alright, we're going to keep 2 Pain lands, and then we're going to be up against Mono Red. You watch. Alright, swing 1. Spellspear on 2. Case of the Uneaten Feast. Well then. Pass the turn. You gonna try some jank tomorrow, Chunky? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Alright, we'll swing. Do a little Embereth Blaze. Pump up the boys. Hit for a total of 7. But he can gain back his life. We're at about half life here. If If we can top deck a land, we can Mechanized Warfare. Alright, he's just gonna scoop. Alright, we'll keep this. Big fella 16 over here. Mountain. We will hold up, play with fire, and say go. Alright, we're gonna hit you in the head and scry into something. A land? Sure. You know what? We've been having trouble getting our third land, so let's do that. Swing with the Codebreaker, pass the turn. We could just play everything out if we wanted to. 𝑇𝑒𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ. Sorry, buddy. That's rough. Oh, that's even rougher. Do we hit the Regatha? I think we do. Because even just our play with fire could complete it. And then our End the Festivities are doing way, way more, right? Prowess off. You gonna try to counterspell? No? Alright, we hit for 3. Honestly, if we had done that before even attacking and got to play End the Festivities before swinging with the Codebreaker, it could have just been game over. Go for the throat, that guy. That's fine. We've got 6 damage in hand right now. Hello. Why do our opponents just, like, refuse to actually play the game? I don't understand. It's not rocket science, dude. It's a burn deck. Play things that are good against burn decks. That's it. That's about it. Five, 6, 7, 8. Tidebinder. I mean, so it no longer has prowess. Get him to 6, kill the Tidebinder, swing for 2 still. I think it's probably worth it. Get him to 4. We're close. Destroy evil, sure. Khenra Spellspear. Alright, so we'll play out the Spellspear. No attacks. Sunfall? Does this deck even use Sunfall? No, just Wedding Announcement. Really depends on what we top deck here. We'll do that. Swing with just these 2. he wants to kill the Swiftspear by double blocking, he has to let the Spellstalker through. Alright, so we get him to 3, which means now a top-decked Lightning Helix just kills it. Honestly, any kind of spell is going to be brutal with the double prowess and the trample. Yeah, he's trying to draw into removal. Preferably a sweeper, I assume. Let's see, Deep Cavern Bat. Tossing a Deep Cavern Bat is no small thing. That, at the very least, could be a chump blocker that gains you a point of life back. Trying to draw into removal. He's just dead, right? Yeah, we got him. A lot of 3-drops, but I'm gonna try it. I guess we probably want to keep our options open, right? Sundown Pass. Tempted to just play Sokenzan and swing with the Swiftspear. I guess we'll just do this. And not play End the Festivities. He's playing a traditional mono-red aggro style deck. Or I guess Rakdos. Alright, so first things first, we're going to do Mechanized Warfare. Because the sooner that's out, the better everything else gets. Edict, that's fine. We forced him to use up an Edict and still got our Warfare on the field. So now Regatha's going to do 5 and 2 to a creature. And the Festivities is going to do 2 to everything, including his head. At Sushi. I don't think we need to kill at Sushi. I think we race at Sushi. And we just don't give him the treasures. Invasion of Regatha. Sure. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I think Regatha's pretty crucial here. We could flip our own, but it's going to take an extra point of damage, so it's not going to happen this turn. Next turn, we would have to, like, Virtue of Courage the Regatha. I don't think it's worth it. I think we just get him down to 9 and finish him off next turn. 4. Like, there's so much damage in our hand. So much damage. Alright, he's gonna flip. Which means next turn he's probably got lethal. We really need a land. Let's see. End the Festivities. End the Festivities. Wipes his whole board and puts him at 5. Even though that means he gets some value off its Sushi. I think that's just what we gotta do. Decadent Dragon, sure. So now he gets probably the treasures, so he can try to spam. No, he took the cards. Wow, okay. So he probably plays the Charming Scoundrel and then maybe the Decadent Dragon. We've got lethal in hand if we just get a mana or a 1-mana spell. So, let's see. Let's see what we can manage. Let's see what we can manage. Well, that's not quite what I was looking for, but I'll take it. Do we get him to 1? I don't think it's worth it. I think we kill the Decadent Dragon, gain some life, and next turn we have lethal. That makes the most sense to me. Because it's going to take us until next turn to kill him no matter what. And we have enough damage left in our hand to just kill him next turn with what's there. So we might as well play it safe, kill the dragon, gain back some life. All's well that ends well. Shivan Devastator. Gonna try and flip it. Fortunately, we have lethal, friend. Embereth Blaze. There we go. Mission accomplished. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.